For this video I'm going to go through TechSoft in a bit more detail, show you some of the basic tools to use. Firstly, when you open the software up, go to Windows and you're looking for Technology and then TechSoft Design 3D. When the screen opens you have this dialog box, just click on the screen and that'll go. Now what I'm going to do is go through some tools. So the areas we're going to look at are the drawing tools on the left. We're going to look at some of the drawing aids on the right, and then we're going to look at this area here where you can see the measurements when you're drawing. So the first thing I'm going to do is turn the grid on. Okay, so if I demonstrate what happens without the grid, if I draw a line without the grid, the line is just placed anywhere. There's no real accuracy, you're just hoping that it's straight. I mean, that one's pretty straight. But if I put the grid on, now I know my line is only going to go on the dots. So each dot is 10 millimeters apart. So I can now start drawing with accuracy and draw to scale or to some accuracy with measurements. So we're always going to use the grid. So the grid should always be on. So this button here turns the grid on and off visually, and this one turns the grid lock on. So when the grid is on, your cursor will jump to the dots. So I'm just going to select all them and press delete on the keyboard. The first thing I'm going to do is just draw a border. So if I draw a border around my page on the dots, I'm then just going to use text tool. I'm going to place a bit of text on there, put in today's date on there, which is 28th. Now if I place that, it's going to be quite large, so I'm going to go to settings, and on here you can move the different fonts around, pick different fonts, different italics. It's just the same as a Word program, but I'm going to just change that to around 8. OK that, OK that, and then I've got the date. So if you need to put your name or date on something or any graphics on there, that's the text tool. I'm now going to place some lines. So I'm going to place the lines. I'm going to draw lines at 50 millimeters. So if I click on there, I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now that's 50 millimeters. That's one way of doing it. I could click and then press the arrow keys, 5, and press enter. That's another way of doing it. Or I could press on here and then look at this area here. If you look there when you're moving your cursor, now I know that's 50. Okay, so that's 3 ways of drawing a line. Now with a rectangle, I could equally go across 50. When you draw, you just notice you can't see anything until you start placing it as a rectangle. Now this rectangle I want to be 50 by 50. So again, if you look around this area here, that is now 50 by 50. So it's a minus 50, but it's still 50 by 50. Okay, accept that on there. Now if you want to look at other tools, you've got different tools. Now I'm doing this by pressing the left mouse button down. Each tool has a set of extra tools behind it. So this ribbon is open by pressing the left mouse button. So you've got those commands there, which are dead useful. The delete one is useful as well. So if I want to delete all of that, press on that and that's gone. Draw that back in, 50 by 50. So that's your tool there. Now another thing I can do is obviously circles. So if I'm going to draw this circle with a radius of 40, okay, sorry, 20, so it's going to be 40 across. So if you look down here again, I've placed it. So there's 0, and then it says 10, and then 20. Now that circle has a radius of 20. Okay, so draw another one next to it. So draw another one exactly the same. Now on here you've got tools to help you. So if you don't want to do that second circle, you can press undo or redo. So that's one way there. If I want to delete it, which you've seen before, I can press delete. Okay, we'll undo that. Now if I want to split that circle in half, I will delete one half of that. If I press that button, the whole circle will go. If I keep my mouse button pressed and pick this one, only half will go. So you can dissect objects across the drawings. If I just do that, if I press this button, I can now get rid of that part of the drawing. Okay, so undo all them. There we go. So that delete tool, you've got delete whole object, delete part of an object. Now if I keep drawing on here, we can do some arcs. So I draw an arc here. You can draw an arc like that. So you can see when I place the arc, these are quite tricky to control when you're placing the arc. There's various different methods of placing arcs depending on how you want to place it. So when you start using TechSoft, you start playing around and work out which one suits you. So for example, this one, because I've gone left to right, it goes underneath. If I go right to left, it goes over the top. So some tools will be better drawn one way or another when you're doing drawings like this. So you can use the tools yourself by working out what you can do. So I'm just going to delete those arcs there. So I'm going to select that and press delete on my keyboard. What I want to show you for this exercise is how to add a fill on this. So I could draw this again, or I could select it, press copy and move it across there, and then press copy and move it across there, etc. Do one more. Now if I want to apply a fill to this area, I'll go to bound fill. It's already set to red. I want to pick a different colour, green. Okay that, press on that. Any islands? There's no islands. Okay, there we go, that's done. Now if I draw a shape here and go to fill, got green again, press OK. Any islands? Yes, that's the island. No more islands, and I can fill that bit in. One more time on here, go to fill. Oops, sorry, double click on this, alright. Get the parameters. I'm going to go to fill and get this big dialog box. And there you have different methods. You can put patterns and textures and photographs in there as well, or you could hatch it. So I'll pick that one. OK that. OK that. No islands. There we go. So that's different ways of drawing squares and adding fills. Now if I go back to my lines, now with this tool we've got a line that's 50mm. Now if I want to press down and use this tool, I could then keep drawing and then press right click to cancel. That's one way of doing a line there. Alternatively, if I want to change the style of the line, okay, if I want a line that's a different pattern, I can then draw the different pattern. Let's change it to some dots on there, and if I want the line to be thick, we can put a measurement in there, and then you've got different lines. So I'll put it back. There we go. So you can keep drawing different lines on there. That one is dotted, but you can't see it. But that's the way of drawing different lines on there, different fill styles. So that's hopefully enough basics for you to get started. If you do need to draw something further detailed, you can zoom in and zoom out. If you end up losing your work, for example, you end up being over here, you're not quite sure how to get back, if you press media, you'll get back to the media part there, so you can see all that. That's it.